Be the change, y'all. You read that? Let me see. Yeah. Be the change. That's what it says. That's what it says. Right. So I've been in the Facebook jail for a minute. So before I get back into jail, I might as well go ahead and speak on some of these things. But we're gonna start off with the be the change, though. Okay. Be the change. Like, have you ever had somebody complain to you that you ain't doing enough, but they ain't doing shit? Yeah, that's because they don't want to be the change, right? That's because they want everyone else to do all the work. And you see this kind of, the same kind of thing happen, like when people are complaining about, like, let's say INFAC, for instance. So people complain about INFAC because, you know, they're not doing enough for their agents or blah, 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 blah. So basically, they're neutralizing our own power. You feel me? Because people are afraid of winning. And that's kind of boiling down to what's going on with some of the things I'll be seeing on this George Chauvin shit. Or not George Chauvin, but Derek Chauvin shit. See, the pressure that was put into this trial had a lot to do with why the trial even happened. Like, if you've seen the original police report for the George Chauvin or Derek Chauvin trial, if you've seen the original report that they put out there, that shit would have never made light of day. Dude would still be walking around right now. Because the way they said it is just basically, oh, we seen this dude, he was having some medical issues and he died and he took him in the custody, whatever. They didn't say nothing about the knee on the neck. They didn't say nothing about anything that happened. The reason why that shit came out is because of us. See, I like to always take chances. I like to always take opportunities that we could take credit for what we did, for the pressure that we put on. A lot of people are saying that the only reason why Derek Chauvin was convicted is because they were afraid that Minnesota or Minneapolis would burn down. If that's the pressure that it's going to take, then we need to apply that pressure every single time they kill one of us. See, that's the point. If it was our pressure, if it was people on social media, people like you, that wouldn't let the story die, that led to dude being convicted, then so be it. All that means is that we have power. Why would you want to neutralize that power? See, put it like this. If that dude would have got cleared for what he did, for literally lynching. Remember, lynching doesn't just mean being hung from the neck. He literally lynched. He did a public display of murdering an unarmed black man. Right? If he would have been found innocent for that, you know what kind of precedents that would have set for other police officers who already know that overwhelmingly they get away with murder. But if that shit would have slid and went as not being convicted as guilty on all charges, imagine the precedents that would have set. So I'm gonna put it like this. The question is, like, how should we feel about the conviction? Right? That's really up to you. But what I'm saying is this. We should feel that that's a victory in some kind of way, because the only way that these police are going to stop doing what they're doing is if they have consequences, if they have to pay consequences. That doesn't mean that we celebrate like we won. It just means that you understand that, yes, the pressure that we put on, all that protest last summer, even though we had niggas gaslighting, like, yo, we shouldn't be burning down, we're destroying, fuck all that. Destroy that shit. Burn these motherfucking cities down if they kill us. What are you talking about? Put that pressure on every single situation that we come across when our people are being murdered. There has to be pressure put on them. There has to be. No other community would allow that shit. You complain that these Asians got these hate crime bills passed. That's because they know that they wouldn't accept it. Either economically, they would do something. Physically, they would do something. Politically, they would do something. Those from their native countries would do something. So what I'm saying is we have to be able to apply pressure on all levels. That's what's going to get the change. If these police officers know that they could be convicted or guilty on 3 charges. Now, remember, this is only the 8th time that this has happened within the last 15 years. Only the 8th time. That ain't shit. So I'm not saying celebrate like we won, it's all over. What I'm saying is this: understand the reason, in part, why this happened is because when we stood up last summer and we didn't let this story die and we let the world know that this is on our mind and we're not going to forget about this and let it be slid under the rug, people paid attention. See, if we're not going to advocate for our own good, other people ain't going to support it or advocate with it. So even all the white folks that was justice for George Floyd, yeah, cool, applaud that shit. Because if we're not sure that we give a fuck, no one else is going to give a fuck. So when we put that kind of pressure on, then of course we're going to start seeing results. Does that make sense? We got to keep that pressure on. So the fact that now there's consequences, and this should just really be like a standard from here on out. This is what we should be expecting. This is what we should always be thriving and pushing for. This should be the new status quo. Let that be known. Yeah, troll this cat. Put that shit out there. Yeah, the family should feel vindicated. Yeah, they got their little 47 million, but they also got the person who murdered their family member is now in prison. And if we don't continue to keep that kind of pressure, they're going to let this shit slide under the rug and go away. If we don't continue to apply that type of pressure, then it's just going to go away and eventually it's going to go back to business as usual. We should never accept that. That's what I'm saying. Go back to be the change. Be the change. You be the change. Don't expect everyone else to do shit. You do what you have to do. So we should actually be taking notes on, okay, we got a conviction in this situation. Fuck about the appeal. He's surely going to try to appeal it. Perhaps. It don't matter. As of now, the precedent has been set that if you murder one of ours, that you're going to go to jail. And if you want these police to think twice about doing egregious shit to us, then they have to know they have consequences to be paid when they do egregious shit. That's why you should have never gaslit or undermined in fact. Not fucking around coalition. You should never undermine armed black people who are willing to hold the line for justice for our people. You should never undermine that. Just think about some of these things that some of these people are doing. Some of these woke whatevers are doing when they do things like that. When they undermine or gaslight or want to call them agents or they're not doing enough or blah, blah, blah. You're neutralizing your own defense. You're actually joining sides with your oppressors because they're doing the same thing because they're afraid. They're scared shitless that thousands of armed black men in every community, these same communities that they're saying black on black crime, bunch of gangbangers, whoop-de-whoop. Now these same communities are starting to produce people who want to stand up for justice and still keep the guns. That scares the shit out of people. And they're thinking, how can we neutralize this situation? Never give them an opportunity to use you to help neutralize a position that can empower or protect you. You're basically doing their job at this point. Don't do that. So yes, Derek Chauvin is convicted on all charges. That's a celebratory thing for me. That's why I put that new Facebook profile. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, let it be known. Let all these cats know. Put them all on notice that if you touch one of ours, either the Micah Johnsons are going to come out, or at least you're going to fucking jail. That's the only reason. That's the only thing that's going to stop them from doing it. You want to know why they don't kill? They actually do kill white folks. They don't put that on the news for a reason. But you want to know why they have more leniency towards it is because they know that most likely a lot of the ones that they're going to encounter, they might have a little bit of money behind them that they can actually start putting pressure on, or they might have political connection. Well, they need to know that we got that too. They need to know that if they touch one of ours, they can also go to prison. And if they don't feel that way, if they don't feel there's any consequences for murdering us, that makes us all food. If there's no consequences ever for murdering us, why would they stop? So don't undermine these things. You know what I'm saying? When I was in Facebook jail, So I couldn't really speak on this when it was really going down. But I just seen a lot of people like, first of all, they were either assuming he was going to go free, which I get it. But think of it like this. Like, we speak about black magic and manifesting things and being able to have the power to actually change things. So why would we put negative energy that would go against the grain or go against our wishes? Why would we do that? Don't even put that negative shit out there. You should have known he was going to get convicted. And that's the energy that we should have been keeping. Fuck this defeatist attitude that we just never think anything ever should go our way. Because if that's how we're thinking, that's not only going to neutralize actual actions, but it's also going to put the energy out there to manifest our own defeat. And why would we do that? Why would we speak all this woke shit and then we would actually put energy into our own demise? That does not make sense. So we should be expecting that when these motherfuckers encroach on us, they're going to have to face some type of consequences. Cities are going to burn. They're going to go to jail. A Micah Johnson's going to pop up and start popping something. Period. That has to be the mentality. Like let's will into existence our victories now. Let's start doing that. Stop neutralizing those who are with us. Stop listen, being on code in part means that we don't take the side of our oppressors ever publicly. That means if you don't like Farrakhan, well, they don't like him either. They don't like him because he's a threat and because he's waking people up and he's mobilizing and he's teaching the truth and he's exposing these devils. They don't like him for that. You don't like him because he's a Muslim, or you don't like him because you think he went away from Elijah Muhammad. You don't like him for whatever reasons. Don't put that shit publicly. Don't do that. Don't do that. Being on code means you just don't take their fucking side publicly. I don't care how you feel about that sister that had the knife. And I didn't really see that whole thing, but apparently she had a knife and she was going to stab someone else and the police shot her. You got people online talking about, well, yeah, they don't even take their side. Just don't say shit. How about that? Don't give them ammo. Don't give Fox News the opportunity to take a clip of one of y'all on Facebook or Twitter or something. Talk about, yeah, well, I understand she does. Don't even give them that. Even if that's really what it is, just don't give them that. Fuck it. For our own, we have to be like they are on code with their own. Period. That's what being on code is. You be the change. See that? Be the change. You. The energy that we're putting into all this other bullshit, we could take some energy and put it into something that may be more beneficial to us. And what's going to be beneficial to us is to not have to feel like every time we get pulled over or anytime a cop has any type of engagements with us, that it could be our last days. And the way we do that is to let them know that there will be consequences if they encroach on us. Let them know that. They're going to think twice if they're thinking, oh shit, this Derek Chauvin, man, he just got convicted 3 things. He's going to jail for 40 years, whatever the case is. That's what's going to make them think before they do some bullshit. There always has to be consequences. You teach this to your child. So that's the same type of energy we have to have in these situations. There has to know there has to be consequences. So yes, put that out there. Troll this nigga Derek Chauvin. You know what I'm saying? Let it be known. Yeah, if it was the pressure from last summer and all the cities in protests and in uprising, if that is what allowed this to get enough attention that it went the way that it should have went, because that's just how it should have went. You feel me? So it's not like it's a big celebration like we won type of shit. That's just how it should have went. This is how it just hasn't been going for so long that now it is going that way. And we need to apply that. That's progress. That's something that we can learn from. That's the kind of pressure we need to continue to apply. And that's the message that has to be sent every single time. And we have to continue to do it like that for all of these cases when our people end up killed unjustifiably. That's the same pressure we have to continue to keep. And the new status quo has to be that they have to pay consequences for murdering us. Don't undermine that. Don't gaslight that. Don't take that lightly. You should not be complaining like it's not enough. You're saying it's not enough because what? You didn't have to do anything for that to happen. So if it's not enough, then what else do you need to be doing? What else should we be doing? What are the solutions? Not just always the complaining about what we don't like. That's bitch ass shit for a bunch of people who claim, and I'm speaking to like most of y'all who act like you're gods and goddesses and kings and queens and all this shit. All that complaining with no solutions, that's not how gods move. That's not how kings move. It's not how winners move. We find ways to win. That's what the fuck we do. We find ways to empower ourselves. That's what we do. We find ways to empower or to assert our power. And part of asserting our power is letting them know that there has to be consequences for what happens. Period. That's the only thing that's going to stop their behavior or change their behavior. Period. And if you're not willing to do that, and if you're not willing to, I mean, if you can't even just keep that energy, how could we, you know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like some of y'all would have been more comfortable if he would have got away. Because, of course, that's just how it's been. So sometimes your comfort zone, it doesn't mean it's what's in your best interest. It just means what you're used to. Right? So we've only seen 8 police that have went to jail for killing people in the last 15 years. Well, that's the problem. So we need to change that problem. And part of that problem is keep applying that pressure, man. So yeah, we should be happy that Derek Chauvin got convicted. We shouldn't be complacent enough to not to keep the pressure on, because in every city, every single day, you already know one of us has ended up missing. A lot of times, most of the time, it's probably unjustified. Not all the times, but most of the time, it's probably unjustified. But we should not stand for none of that shit. So that's it, man.